In the late 1800s, in the south of France, a small hamlet known as Rennes-le-Château would produce a legend which would change our times beyond the depths of our imaginations. A priest of a small church who went by the name of Songe was all but penniless when he met a social status which would extend into the reaches of the art, acting, and political worlds of his times, and so would his mysterious fortune reach into our own times. You guessed it, it is the now infamous story of the legend of the Holy Grail, as told by Henry Lincoln, Holy Blood and the Holy Grail. And believe it or not, today's Jewdivision thrust our boy Matt Cooper back in the center of a conspiracy which now stretches to times before America was even formed. We will investigate the age-old key behind the painting which inspired the modern leg of this epic tale, Dan Brown's Da Vinci Code, and we'll also use Henry Lincoln's Origins of the Da Vinci Code to give context to the story. Believe it or not, we will actually decode Poussin's painting, Shepherds of Arcadia, aka Annette Arcadia Ego, also known as Les Bergers d'Arcadie. We will also use historic facts surrounding these enigmas to thread together a mystery, which will also script Sir Francis Bacon as a villain, who would play both the starring role in the invention and the collapse of America over 400 years ago. And now this clip begins our story of the true Holy Grail.
In the intervening years, Henry Lincoln has discovered another mystery. A mystery that goes far beyond the supposed treasure at Rennes-le-Château. The priest's riches are a distraction from the real secret of the village. That it is but a small part of a much greater wonder. It is in fact part of one of the wonders of the ancient world. This program seeks to explain why this little-known area in the Languedoc region of France could truly be described as a holy place.
As we will see, after studying the Grail for nearly half a century, Henry Lincoln, too, describes the treasure in this mystery as a spiritual treasure with firm conviction, and we here at Jewdivision would have to agree with that statement. Welcome back to The Truth. Welcome to Jewdivision. As you know, I'm Judah, the author of the Sacred Scroll of Seven Seals series, only available on Amazon.com. And so, just as Lincoln writes, it was Songe, the poor priest of this humble, seemingly Catholic church, who also begins our adventure. And while doing some repairs to the altar of his crumbling mission-style church, the priest had the top stone lifted from its place, and some parchments, old dusty parchments, were reportedly discovered contained in one of the hollow supporting pillars of this church here, Rennes-le-Château.
At the end of the 19th century, so the story went, the priest of this tiny hilltop village in the foothills of the Pyrenees discovered some parchments hidden in his church. Almost overnight, it seems, his life of extreme poverty changed to one of extraordinary wealth. The discovery of the parchments had apparently led him to a lost treasure, the accursed treasure of the title.
And it was a clue written in this little book, says Lincoln, which led him back to Rennes-le-Château. Well, more of a hidden message which first piqued Henry's interest in this life-altering treasure.
69. Lincoln, it seems, was the first to break a secret code.
There I was, having read the way through the book, looking at the reproductions of two of the parchments which the priest had apparently found. And there it was, a passage from the Gospels in Latin, which talked of Jesus walking in the cornfields with the disciples, and they did rub the ears of corn and did eat. And suddenly I find myself reading off a message in French, very simple, was hidden in a way that I've always described as a schoolboy code.
Some of the letters were slightly raised above the others. When these were picked out, the hidden message was easily readable.
It was so easy to find. And it simply said, this treasure belongs to Dagobert II, king, and to Zion, and he is there dead.
Now, I'll spare you the long pontification given by Lincoln as to the decryption of the two parchments containing excerpts from the Gospels. That I'll leave between you and Lincoln. It is a fascinating tale, so I don't want to take from that. And so I'm going to leave links to the best of his documentaries in the comments section below for your leisure. And thus breath was breathed into the heretical story, Holy Blood and the Holy Grail, which in turn sparked the better known but less interesting work, the Da Vinci Code. But the fact that this so-called treasure belonged to Zion, it hinted to the long-standing belief that among this treasure laid the now infamous Holy Grail. And they were right, as you know from watching Judavision. If you don't know that, I might suggest that you go back at either before or after watching this show and go watch the Vegas Exposed series, because your mind is going to open up. And today we'll reveal, believe it or not, this long hidden treasure, the Holy Grail. And we have many times on this show, but you're going to give it context to all these stories. And we'll soon also reveal Saulnier's actual grail, believe it or not, probably in an upcoming episode, because this one's dense with discovery, with which he gained his great fortune and great social prominence. Since, as you know, here on Judavision, we don't simply shine light upon mysteries, we do solve mysteries. So hit the subscribe button and push the bell so that you can be notified when truth is uploaded to YouTube. To tell this story in its factual nature, we'll actually solve the riddles mentioned, believe it or not, and I'll then leave an organized trail of documentaries in the comments section so that the thorough truth seeker might take a guided tour of this adventure with a perfect understanding of this so-called mystery in advance. This will allow you, the viewer, to debunk the red herring threads, revealing to you today all of the liars over the years, and it's going to blow your mind how they weaved this together and how much is true and how much isn't. Also found in the same hollow altar, the pillar at the church, the second decoded parchment reportedly read the following: Shepherdess no temptation, to which Poussin Tenier hold the key piece, 681 by the cross, and this horse of God I complete this demon guardian at midday, blue apples. And if you do watch the show and you're a subscriber, completing a demon guardian, you already probably know where this is going. But this is going to be a fascinating show either way, because it's going to bring everything together for you. Poussin and Tenier mentioned in there are painters who were contemporaries in the 1600s, or perhaps their shared interest in long bud-cut hair and well-manicured mustaches gave that away for you. But Poussin's in Arcadia ego, Les Bergers d'Arcadie, aka the Shepherds of Arcadia, is in the art world the most perplexing enigma of all time because of the secret codes in there. It's long known to hold a hidden message, and that men from Darwin to Einstein have obsessed over decoding this secret message, and that they've said that they're in pursuit of a treasure. So since hundreds of years, a lot of these codes, though, have turned out to be pentagrams and hexagrams, which we know in witchcraft are terribly powerful imagery. But first, for those who don't know, my writing began with tracking down the bloodline of the Order of Skull and Bones families, being a secret society on Yale University. So when I noticed voluminous clues on the map and the names of the streets and towers and stuff on Mandalay, where Mandalay Bay is located, indicating symbolism of this modern evolution of the Knights Templar, I visited the property of Mandalay Bay with haste, because I knew something was up there. Never realized how crazy this would be, but remarkably, I found that the halls of the lobby of Delano Tower were lined with witchcraft. In particular, these 13-foot scrying mirrors, which are used for talking with the supposed angels. Many say they talk to the dark side, to the dead, to demons. Call them whatever you want, but they think that something on the dark side is communicating with them. All of them agree with that. Some of them call it the light side, but we know better. But on the walls, well, let me show you this. Look, there's a painting of some bird people creepily, and it goes in perpetuity back and forth in these mirrors. And these candles are just, they are used to dance and make images happen there. But on the walls, creepily, on the walls of the elevator lobby, I found that a strange New Zealand artist sharing a similar name with the founder of the Order of Skull and Bones. The secret society at Yale had painted a gully knife, believe it or not, in the hand of only one of the many bird people she depicted in her strange work. So see all these bird people here? Only the one on this wall, on this side, and this is the door that goes into the actual elevators. Here's her little plaque saying her name, J.K. Russ. And William Huntington Russell founded the Order of Skull and Bones. Only one of these bird people had this creepy knife in its hand. And it looks like a Mesoamerican piece because it's got this offset. He's probably tied together onto a flint for spilling human blood unbelievably. And that particular bird lady was placed, as mentioned, directly over the common wall, which separates the elevator wall from the actual elevator shaft. That bird lady also shared, believe it or not, the falcon head of Hathor, the Egyptian goddess who precedes the rise of a sun god who's called Amun-Ra. But only after this human sacrifice here is made. You see his victims here. A blood sacrifice had to be made, and that was done in front of a pyramid. So with the Luxor being right next door, I quickly realized that this was a golden temple more than it really was a themed casino. And here you can see Hathor's golden tower right next temple, right next to Amun-Ra's pyramid. So I knew something was up here. After all, Hathor too was the goddess, a goddess of a golden tower. Look here, it says she was referred to as the Golden One. The Golden One. Remember the imagery on the $1 bill? One. So this clue, a knife painted in the hand of an ancient Egyptian deity of human sacrifice, hidden in a painting on the elevator wall, cleverly hidden in the golden tower just behind the one from which the gunman spilled all that blood, led me to another painter named Matt Cooper. Matt Cooper, the husband of said occult artist, J.K. Russ. J.K. Russ. So this is going to get interesting. That's the end of part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, because this is going to blow your mind how it all comes together. And if you're wondering why I'm on an iPad, I don't want to violate anybody's copyrights. I want everybody to know that this is a low quality version. This is for information only, and all we're doing is commenting on their works, and we're taking a look at their art and seeing what we think of their art. That's it, on their postings on the internet. So for fair use copyrights purposes, we're doing this, but it's going to blow your mind. You're going to be happy to be here. Stay tuned for the next Judah Vision episode uploaded, part 2 of this series.